You're going to have the suck uniforms the entire season, but 3 games will give you with the best uniform. Those are the issues I have. The powder blues out for the Chargers. That should be every game. The Miami Dolphins old uniforms that they throw it back to. That should be your uniform, not the trash you wear now. The Patriots. You ever see them throw back with a little football player in the helmet? It is beautiful. But let's keep the trash uniform.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Things you have to look at is what the team has the following day, especially when it comes to bullpen usage. You know, a lot of the things I like to attack is you see these extra inning games, these games get drawn out, these bullpens get worn, or if someone gets shelled the first 3 innings and they got to go to the pen, you know, early, you know, that's a good spot to kind of hop in the middle of the next game. You know, you got a tired bullpen, right? You try and take advantage there, maybe with an over, maybe with the money line. You're getting plus money on a favorite at that point.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Piece of an interesting couple of weeks in California. If you recall, just I think it was 2 weeks ago, language was inserted into a bill that would outlaw or ban sweepstakes casinos and sports betting, which of course we've seen lots of that happen this year. So California is an interesting market because, as you've said, there is no legal online casino. There is no legal online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Like Montreal, has a new coach. Like I might be the new coach of Montreal in 2 weeks. Like they have a new coach all the time, and they always have, oh yeah, we're playing a new system. They're like, they have a bunch of 20-year-old players and kids on the pitch. Anyone that's good, they sell and they trade for money all the time. Like it's a real disaster. But they hit a new low tonight, getting eliminated by the Forge.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to hour number 3, our third and final live right here on this Monday to start off a new week known as Hump Week here on the Early Line. Why? Because there's not a lot of sports action this week. Major League Baseball at the All-Star break. The WNBA will enter their All-Star festivities at the conclusion of action on Wednesday. We do have a home run derby to preview in full in this third and final hour. We'll give you all the rules and the needs to know for tonight's Sluggers in Atlanta inside Truist Park, including the dimensions of that ballpark there in the A. And the home run prop king, Tom Vecchio, will join us to end out this third and final hour to give you his home run derby picks on this Monday evening. Tomorrow is the Midsummer Classic. That is the All-Star game in Major League Baseball. DRS, some NFL news as well as we get going here in hour number 3.
It's nice. We got some things popping up here. Some wide receivers unhappy with their current situation in San Francisco. We'll see where that finds out. And also, the Major League Baseball All-Star game. The pregame ceremony, Jermaine Dupri, Ludacris, Kane Brown, and the Zach Brown Band. Kane Brown, Zach Brown. Any relation, by the way, between Kane Brown and the Zach Brown Band? Brothers? Cousins?
No,
what are they? Any?
I don't know enough about country music. I would say no, just based on what I know about both of those artists. I do not believe that they are related. But how about Jermaine Dupri? Still getting it done, man. Luda in the A? That's pretty good. For all of our qualms, DRS. Boom, boom.
Boom, boom,
when I move, you move.
Up. Just like that.
When I move, you move.
DJ, bring that back. Have you throw little bows on the dance floor? Boom, boom.
Talking about Hump Week.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. As we keep it going here.
Let's keep it out of the bedroom, Ben. I don't know what you're doing.
That was probably too far. I'll admit that. Hand up. That was on me. We're a family program. But hey, you know what? Let's we're having some fun here, DRS. By the way, as we go around this week in football, because do not forget, the month of July is football. 2 weeks from Thursday, our first NFL game of the year, the Hall of Fame game in Canton between the Chargers and the Lions. LA sent LA sent their rookies to training camp on Saturday. The veterans report this upcoming Wednesday. DRS, some news for the Chicago Bears. Ryan Poles.
Yeah.
I was going to try to keep friendly there as well. And then I
What
almost
week is
said
it again?
something. Ryan Poles signing a contract extension, keeping him in Chicago 4 years to come. Of course, another optimistic offseason in the Windy City that saw the acquisition of Ben Johnson as the new head coach and potentially a bright future in 2025 for Chicago. Quarterback, head coach, GM, all now aligned inside Hallis Hall. Your reaction, DRS, to the extension for Bears GM Ryan Poles.
Yeah, by the way, you look at Ryan Poles and some of the, oh, man, it's way under 500. You know what he's done for the Chicago Bears and their fan base? Giving them hope. That's all you can ask for right now. The foundation of the team is there. The head coach that you figure can be a franchise guy is there. The general manager, you want him in lockstep with his head coach. You don't want to say, oh, man, if I have a bad season this year, I might be out the window. No, granted, you are hired to be fired in professional sports. If the team gets 3 wins this year and maybe he gets fired, that's not the objective, obviously, for the Bears. But for me to see, like, okay, everybody's in line. Coach probably has a 5-year deal. General manager lines up with him. Franchise quarterback in here. Harmony in the building. Good, young, talented team. And away we go. I don't think anybody can fault this. You can't, well, he hasn't done anything since he's been there. Yes, he has. He made an unbelievable trade, which allowed you to have all that ammunition and all those moves to pick this team and add players, which includes Caleb Williams as a generational quarterback that they figured. Rightfully so. If you could just give a team hope and they're on the right direction, you're supposed to get extensions. That's what he got.
Absolutely so, DRS. Some like to poke fun at Ryan Poles, who has been the general manager in Chicago since 2022. And you mentioned the overall record in his tenure, 15-36, a losing season each and every year, 7 wins at its max. The Bears entering 2025 have a win total of 8.5. The under has the juice, and pretty hefty juice at -165. You might be thinking to yourself, well, what are you guys discussing when it comes to optimism? Part of the reason the Bears win total is 8.5 and the under has such heavy juice, they play in the NFC North, which is the NFL's most competitive division right now. Every team in this division has 4 of the 10 most difficult schedules around the National Football League. Chicago individually has the 7th hardest schedule entering 2025. DRS, the last time Chicago went over 8.5 wins was 2018. They finished with 12 victories. It was one of the last times they made the playoffs. The last playoff win for Chicago, 2010. They have only made 2 playoff appearances in the 14 seasons since the 12-win season in 2018, when Matt Nagy seemed to be one of the better head coaches in the National Football League. And 2 years later, in 2020, when Chicago finished with an even 500 number at 8-8. Again, it is going to be tough sledding this year for the Bears. With that being said, there is some optimism, and of course, as Caleb Williams showed flashes, they have bolstered that offensive line that was atrocious last year, allowing 68 sacks. Williams sacked 68 times, 16 times more than any other quarterback around the National Football League. And of course, when you have the offensive wizard that Ben Johnson is supposed to be, paired with Caleb Williams, you should be optimistic about the season ahead. Is it going to be 11 wins and a playoff spot? More than likely not. Can they maybe flirt with a winning record and be in wild card contention? I would say so.
Oh, we're going to get a referendum right off the bat. Here's the thing that you don't like about that schedule you're looking at right there is that early bye week, 4 games and a bye. That's not what you like. You like that bye pushback better, specifically for a team that's with a new head coach, or at least not a new head coach, a new coach to the league, just a new head coach on that team trying to set up that regime. Here's what I like, though. Those first 4 games, I got to tell you, you should be staring at a 3-1 record for the Chicago Bears. Heading into the bye, that'll juice up the Windy City. That'll get everybody ready to go before you get a really big test going on the road, Washington there, as you see in week number 6. It's a good start to the schedule, but again, I say we're staring at a 3-1. You actually wind up with a 1-3. Now we're questioning everything about the Chicago Bears on the season, but I have high expectations for that team because I think the talent is there. I think the quarterback is there, and now you have the offensive coordinator that can put that quarterback in a great spot on every play and actually coach him up. What's not to like about the Bears right now? Everything moving in the right direction, but at that bye week there, you better be 3-1. I'm telling you that right now, or we're going to be turning the dials.
Especially if you're going to get over 8.5, knowing what is ahead the remainder of the way and with divisional play down the home stretch. There is no doubt about that, DRS. And you have Ben Johnson, the offensive mastermind, but now the additional responsibilities of being an NFL head coach for the first time in his career. Hope and optimism, very different than proven pedigree. That's the difference, I would say, for the Bears entering 2025. They have had hope numerous times with Justin Fields and in the rookie campaign of Caleb Williams, only in what we have seen being disappointing in the 15-36 record in total under Ryan Poles. DRS, we'll hear from the people. Should we look at it right now, or should we wait till the other side of the break? Because, yeah, let's get to it right now. From polls to a poll, it's time to fade the public. And then, of course, we'll discuss this further on the other side of the break. I got a little excited there, perhaps, as that money was falling. But DRS will further this discussion because we're going right into the home run derby and stating out the logistics for tonight in Atlanta. Which league at SportsGrid on Twitter has the best all-star festivities? Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, NHL. More than 57% of the public voting for MLB. You'll have more time to discuss on the other side of the break, DRS. But you quote tweeted this poll today saying they all suck.
Yeah. They all suck. They absolutely do. We're trying to make do with this. So we should never, as a betting public or a network or just a fan base, make do with all-star games. All-star games are supposed to be spectacular. These are all spectacularly bad, and we'll let you know each one of how bad they actually are. Next, right here on the early line on a hump day. Is it a hump day week? Whatever.
That is the idea. It really is for in-game live. You said it. The home team who's a double-digit or close to it anyway favorite and get off to a bad start and actually have them trailing by 5, 6, 7 to the point where you get it at pick'em. And I don't know how many times. I'd like to know a stat of how many times a team that's been favored by double digits, trailed by double digits, and actually won the game. I bet it's a lot.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
You've got issues up and down here. The bullpen is falling apart, to put it nicely. And have you seen the schedule for the Yankees for the rest of the month of July here? We have Seattle, then we have the Cubs, then you have Atlanta, then you have Toronto again in Toronto. That really didn't go all that well this week. And then you have Philadelphia and Tampa. Good luck to the Yankees in July here.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Time for the Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking in to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. It's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that were in household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Which of our 4 major men's professional sports leagues has the best all-star festivities? If you ask one Mr. Rightside, he would say none of them. They all stink. If you ask the public, more than 57% say Major League Baseball. It is the way that I voted as well. DRS, I think MLB has the best all-star festivities. One, because I still like the home run derby. I think it rocks. It's the best for me out of a three-point contest or the dunk contest. that we get in the NBA All-Star Weekend. I'm not a hockey guy, so I don't really know what All-Star Weekend looks like in the National Hockey League, and it is certainly never the Pro Bowl games with how things are in the NFL. I still think the Home Run Derby is cool, and the nostalgia of it I always enjoy. And in terms of a game looking the closest to what we see, I think you can do that with the All-Star Game in Major League Baseball because you still have pitchers out there for an inning giving you everything they got. You've got a couple of batters trying to, best on best, put a ball in play or maybe over the yard. And then you have some additional features like the guys mic'd up and talking to them. And it's not necessarily like they're running the entire time, so you still kind of have that behind-the-scenes look, where the game still resembles, in large part, I would say, what we would see during a normal game of 162 in MLB.
Exactly, and that's the only way you have to break it down. And kudos to the people that voted for Major League Baseball. It says which has the best All-Star festivities, which means from All-Star Weekend start or All-Star Week to finish, whatever you have the weekend of the week, it doesn't matter. Because Major League Baseball, the one thing that you do get, the pitchers are out there. If they tend to throw an average fastball of 95, they're probably throwing 97 because they're actually amped up. It's the All-Star game. They're not throwing 45 like the NBA, right? Hey, it's at the All-Star game. Let's play this game at 50%. They don't do that in baseball. That's not the way it is. Like, guys want to hit, guys want to pitch, guys want to get their innings in, guys want to see if they can be MVP, hit a home run or two, so it makes some sense. And also understand this, like Major League Baseball doesn't muck everything up, which means that they do home run derby. They don't do which I think would be fascinating and nobody would participate, the hardest pitch, like the hardest slap shot. You know what I mean? They do in the NHL. Can you imagine 5 of the top pitchers in baseball trying to throw 106 to break the radar? I mean, obviously their teams wouldn't appreciate that, but that might be something that you would watch. But they don't hey, well, how about pop time for a catcher? Throw it down the second base. They don't. They say, you know what? People like home runs. We give them a home run derby. Then we give them the All-Star game. Then we go home. That's why it's at 57% as the voting and by a wide margin. You look at the other leagues, the NBA, you can hear a pin drop the entire All-Star weekend for the NBA. Nobody cares. It's boring as all get out. Nobody's in the dunk competition. How exciting is it for Steph to shoot a 3-point shot unattended there and go around? Who cares about that anymore? The NFL, they did away with everything. 1.6 matches it perfectly, but they were smart enough as a league to be like, this is absolutely horrendous to watch. Let's just throw something on ESPN to give them a bone, let's just say, because they have the football package, and you can play it out. The NHL, it is decent, but the All-Star game is terrible because it's not anything like what you watch in hockey and the physicality that people tune into. So you're right. Baseball gets it right. The NFL actually got it right at 1.6% because they did away with that farce of the game. I would love if every league just did away with the All-Star game. And as I say, Ben, at the end of the season, just have a nice steak dinner for the people that made the All-Star game and have at it.
Yeah, that's how DRS would like to do it. Again, if you do not think that All-Star games or All-Star festivities in the middle of a season, even near the end of a season, like in the National Football League, are worthy, pay for the guys to take a nice trip. I still offer up the idea that the Pro Bowl game should be back in Hawaii. Then you would get more players at least excited by the actual trip than heading to Orlando. But again, that's neither here nor there. We get ready for a home run derby tonight, DRS, in Atlanta, inside Truist Park. Here is how this works. We have a field of 8. We'll tell you the contestants tonight in just a matter of moments. A change dating back to 2016, but a change even within the change. When we changed the format in 2016 from the amount of pitches to a timed round, we made a bracket. 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, based on the number of home runs hit up until the All-Star break. Not the case any longer. In the first round, DRS, 3 minutes for each participant or 40 pitches, whatever comes first. The top 4 home run hitters, just in the number of long balls in the opening round, advance to the semifinals. That's when it becomes a knockout round. 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 in the head-to-head matchups. And then, of course, whoever wins those head-to-head matchups face off in a final. When you get to the knockout style in round number 2 in the semifinals, it becomes 2 minutes or 27 pitches, both for the semis and the finals. Again, those are logistics behind tonight. We'll remind you what it is. Here are the participants. Big Dumper, our MLB home run leader, is in the field. 38 homers for Cal Raleigh. He had 2 in the opening game against Detroit to add to his lead in the final weekend set for Seattle. He's got 38, 14 more than James Wood, who is having a great year for the Nationals. Junior Caminero continues to provide some pop. And Byron Buxton, a native in Atlanta, back home trying to put on a show in front of the hometown crowd. Brent Rooker of the Athletics, he has 20. Jazz Chisholm, his torpedo bat tonight, perhaps 17 home runs. We knew we were going to get at least one Atlanta Brave. It was initially Ronald Acuna Jr., who is now out. He's not missed any time for the Braves, but dealing with back tightness, does not want to aggravate anything and taking some big hacks tonight. So Matt Olson is there to represent the Braves. And finally, DRS O'Neal Cruz, who has the fewest amount of home runs hit in this field of 8 this year at only 16 for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but is the exit velo leader. That is exit velocity, basically how hard he hits a baseball every time he connects. He is in the field as well. That is our field of 8 participants for the 2025 Home Run Derby.
But by the way, also on this, with some of the, the rulings on these, like, why do we have a clock and also a max pitch count? Like, wouldn't it be to your advantage? Like, let him go 3 minutes and throw as many pitches as you can. And also, how about the dumb rules of, I hit a pop-up, I have to wait till it lands? Why can't you just go rapid fire? Because number one, it could work because you can hit a lot of home runs. But number two, boy, you could just get tired out really quickly and be like, hey, you could call the timeout. But my goodness, I don't understand why we have both. Max 40 pitches. Well, just make it 40 pitches. Max 3 minutes. Well, then just make it 3 minutes. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it is a little bit silly. I would agree. I believe if you hit a home run 425 feet or longer, you get an additional bonus time as well. We'll continue to talk the rules, the field, the dimensions at Truist Park next.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Connect's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Connect, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Connect 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs like they know it's coming. It's like, oh boy, did you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
You have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Of an interesting couple of weeks in California. If you recall, just I think it was 2 weeks ago, language was inserted into a bill that would outlaw or ban sweepstakes casinos and sports betting, which of course we've seen lots of that happen this year. So California is an interesting market because, as you've said, there is no legal online casino. There is no legal online sports betting.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Getting you ready with everything you need to know for the 2025 Home Run Derby tonight in Atlanta and Truist Park. It is the home of the Braves, who, of course, had a disappointing season. But tonight we would expect a ton of home runs. DRS, here are the dimensions tonight in the A. And then we'll come to forecaster Donnie in just a moment to get the temperature, humidity, all of that for tonight. Left field, 335. Straightaway center, 400 feet. Down the right field line, 325. Cal Raleigh, switch hitter, by the way, despite being MLB's home run leader. He has 38 homers this year. What is the forecast, the weather looking like tonight, DRS, down in the A?
Always in hot Atlanta today, 92 degrees on the forecast. I don't have exactly where the wind is blowing just yet at this point, but we do have that heat and humidity that you love. And also, more importantly, tonight, no rain in the forecast. We don't have to worry about raindrops, and we have to take a break. It looks like it's going to be clean all night, but those hot temperatures, which you absolutely love to see down there. So an A-plus night in the Big A weather-wise looks like we're going to get.
Yeah, that should be the case, DRS, and that means the ball is flying. That is what we love. By the way, I'm trying to see Cal Raleigh, how many home runs he has hit from the right side and the left side. I don't know if I can find it at this moment, but we'll try to get you some of those numbers. I don't know if he is determined yet in Big Dumper which way he is batting. He is a switch hitter, right? I'm not going crazy?
Yes, correct. He is. Yes.
Okay.
Very good player.
Thank you for checking on that. 30, very good player indeed. 38 home runs for Cal Raleigh in DRS. It is the reason why he is the favorite entering tonight's home run derby at a 3-1 number. What is really interesting, though, when you look at the odds, you see Cal Raleigh now plus 290. Some of the updated prices on a sports book we no longer name by itself. Cal Raleigh is the favorite, but the second best price is O'Neal Cruz. We showed you the field of 8. The Pirates player only has 16 home runs. It's the fewest amount in this field tonight at the home run derby. So why would O'Neal Cruz have that second best number? He is the exit velocity leader in Major League Baseball. Basically, when he makes contact, that ball comes screaming off his bat. And if in a home run derby, you are not looking for situational baseball and just trying to hit the crap out of that baseball, then you are going to be swinging hard. Even if you mishit it, but you hit the ball hard, it has a better chance of flying out. It is why O'Neal Cruz has that second best price now at plus 310.
Yeah, it's interesting. And again, you look like obviously Cal Raleigh's a leader there, home run guy, should be the favorite, but this is one of the tougher things to handicap, even from an odds maker perspective of who's going to hit home runs. And also, we're talking about a lot of guys with not a lot of center stage experience being in front of 50,000 or 35,000 fans, whatever it's going to be in the Big 8 tonight, where they're used to just being up there and swinging and trying to hit home runs when you know you're supposed to. Yes, they do it every single day in batting practice. It's very easy for them, but once you get in that spotlight, how are you going to react to that situation? Which is why I look a little bit further down the board at this point. Also, if we did make any tweaks to like home run derby, would you rather see, like, is it more exciting to see a guy hit 30 home runs in a round or one 535-foot blast off a scoreboard? I like to we just hit the absolute rocket bomb, like O'Neal Cruz. Like if you said, hey, you can win this thing if you hit one at 525, and that's all the guys were trying to do, I would love home run derby at that point.
Absolutely so, DRS. And by the way, the longest home run hit tonight has an over-under at 479.5 feet. Can we see a 480-yard bomb? We hope so. Some great investigative work by our producer extraordinaire, Joe Frizo. 22 home runs for Cal Raleigh from the left side of the dish, 16 home runs this year from the right side of the dish. Cal Raleigh's father, large dumper, or maybe even larger dumper for Big Dumper, is pitching to him tonight. But we expect Cal Raleigh to hit from the left side. We're not sure which way, if Dad is a righty thrower or a lefty thrower for Mr. Raleigh. But either way, we expect Cal Raleigh to hit from the left side of the dish, as we shared down the right field line, a little bit shorter at Truist Park than down that left field line. Again, DRS, when you look at these derby odds that we'll discuss and all the betting markets that you have on the other side of the break, a reminder of the structure: 3 minutes or 40 pitches for all 8 guys in the opening round. The top 4 home run hitters then make it on to the semifinal round that becomes a knockout stage. 1 versus 4, the most home runs versus the 4th most homers in the opening round, 2 versus 3, and then into the finals. 2 minutes or 27 pitches, whatever comes first in the semifinal and final round. Again, just to determine. And DRS, throughout those rounds, a player can call for a 45-second time out to get some hydration, to slow down the heart rate, and of course to gear up for the remainder of that round as they are taking those large swings. We'll talk about maybe some picks, some angles, got some numbers to break down for you. What in the Derby? Man, next.
That is the idea. It really is for in-game live. You said it. The home team who's a double-digit or close to it anyway favorite and get off to a bad start and actually have them trailing by 5, 6, 7 to the point where you get it at pick'em. And I don't know how many times. I'd like to know a stat of how many times a team that's been favored by double digits, trailed by double digits, and actually won the game. I bet it's a lot.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
You've got issues up and down here. The bullpen is falling apart, to put it nicely. And have you seen the schedule for the Yankees for the rest of the month of July here? We have Seattle, then we have the Cubs, then you have Atlanta, then you have Toronto again in Toronto. That really didn't go all that well this week. And then you have Philadelphia and Tampa. Good luck to the Yankees in July here.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Connect's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Connect, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Connect 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Time for the Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, like, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. Like, it's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, like, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going like, ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that weren't household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
So many different markets and angles of attack, DRS, for the 2025 Home Run Derby tonight in Atlanta. You can bet on people to make the semifinals, to basically divide the field by 8, the top 4 home run hitters in our opening round. We have Cal Raleigh as the favorite to win the entire thing, and Big Dumper, of course, has the best price to at least reach the semis at minus 265. You see Cal Raleigh there from the right side of the dish. More than likely, he will be batting for the left side of the plate tonight, but maybe he gives us a thrill and hits a couple of home runs from each side. O'Neal Cruz has the second best price to both win and to make the semifinals. James Wood having a great year for the Nationals, third best number as well. Might Matt Olson be able to give the hometown crowd a thrill? He has a slightly better price, DRS, to reach the semifinals than that of the Georgia native in Byron Buxton. But Byron Buxton has a slightly better price than Matt Olson to win the entire thing.
Now, if you were just like, you can handicap these, I guess. Hey, Wood's going to hit a lot of home runs. All right, well, maybe he does. Maybe Jazz Chisholm in the torpedo bat, because that's all he does well is swing for the fences. But if I just said to myself, let me just come up with a strategy. And he said, let me just keep it simple. Every round, I'm just going to take the plus money. Then I actually think you'd wind up with plus money at the end of the night. I do, because it's not, hey, Max Fried's on the mound going up against, Ranger Suarez. Like, okay, I think this is how it's going to work out and how these pitchers pitch and how these players like to hit against certain pitchers. It's just batting practice. Like, some guys going to get hot, some guys not. And who's to say, like, Cal Raleigh can't get bounced, like, in the first round? Like, we don't know how great Cal's going to be in this, where O'Neal Cruz hits laser beams. Maybe it's 2 home runs at 450 and doesn't hit any more because he's just so wound up and try to absolutely uncork lasers into the seats. So for my strategy tonight and just looking like who's going to make it to the semifinals, I see the minus money guys. I don't want anything to do with those guys. Give me the plus money on this, because you just have to go, hey, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, plus money on the night. That's how I would do it.
No doubt, DRS. And it is still a random thing. Cal Raleigh is the home run leader. He's got 38.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean necessarily he has been grooved for a home run derby and how things play out. You're talking about metrics, right? And I'll give a big shout out to a guy that has been on the SportsGrid network here on the early line and various other programs a ton, and Peter Apple, who does great work with our guys over at Just Baseball Media. I watched a video from him early this morning, DRS, breaking down the home run derby field and breaking down some reliable trends in metrics that he uses to handicap this event. Again, they changed the format from number of pitches and outs to the amount of time back in 2016. Every single winner outside of Teoscar Hernandez last year in 2024 had these two similar metrics. They were top 10 in exit velo in terms of how hard they hit the frickin' baseball all year long, and they were 26 years old or younger. Teoscar Hernandez is the only guy to defy that, as Teoscar is 32 now, maybe even 33 years old. But there are a couple of players in this year's field of 8 that are top 10 in exit velo and the additional 26 years old or younger. Those 3 guys, O'Neal Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates, James Wood of the Washington Nationals, and Junior Caminero of the Tampa Bay Rays. Again, DRS, O'Neal Cruz, only 16 long balls this year, the fewest of any of our 8 participants tonight in Atlanta inside Truist Park. And yet the odds makers kind of know what Peter Apple was saying as well in those key, at least baseline handicapping metrics, that O'Neal Cruz has the second best price, only behind Cal Raleigh to win tonight's home run derby.
Yeah, and also, and how about this? You take a look at the longest home run in feet, over 471.5 is listed for O'Neal Cruz tonight. So we're expecting some of those big blasts, but they are intriguing guys. Like, you're right about this. Sometimes you take a look at the best home run hitters are the guys that can hit the ball the farthest. That's why we always say, man, Giancarlo Stanton's great at this. Aaron Judge would be great at this. But sometimes we don't know how it factors in, where some guys just need to get into a groove. And if it's an O'Neal Cruz where you say to yourself, is he in a groove when he hits the baseball that hard? Or is he like, you know what, I'm just going to maximize my contact. 1 out of every 4 swings, I'll hit the baseball, and it goes so far away, where let's just say a Matt Olson's like, I'm just going to have that nice, easy swing. This is my home ballpark. I'm used to it. Boom, loft those balls. 375 feet, 375 feet, 375 feet, as opposed to out, 520, out, 520, like O'Neal Cruz might be able to give you with that huge, basically, launch angle, efficiency at the plate. Well, who knows what's going to happen? So for me, again, I'm just looking at the guy that maybe not the best home run hitter distance-wise, but just can get into a groove tonight would be the handicap.
And when you look at O'Neal Cruz, he is the favorite right now. Yes, you can bet on who has the highest exit velocity on a ball hit tonight. O'Neal Cruz is a minus 130 favorite to have that highest exit velo. DRS, we would think there is an advantage slightly of being a left-handed hitter tonight inside Truist Park than that of a lefty. Again, down the right field line, 10 feet shorter than down the left field line. To left center, it's 385. To right center, a 10-foot advantage. 375 as well. Center 400 feet away. You don't need to be hitting 450-plus foot moonshots each and every time.
Yeah.
You hit it 330 down that right field line, it counts all the same as you try to groove that swing to do just that. Other prop bets that you can have, DRS, 240.5 for the total amount of home runs to hit tonight. You can bet the over-under for each participant in the opening round. For instance, O'Neal Cruz, his over-under for that opening round, 21.5. Brent Rooker of the Athletics, 18.5 as well. It's all about making sure your stamina is there as well. 3 minutes in the opening round, 2 minutes if you advance to the semifinals, 2 more minutes in that finals round as well. A little bit different, DRS, of course, in the structure, in the thought process. In the semifinals, in the finals, you're going direct head-to-head. You will know what number you need to post, or if you are batting second, which number that you need to beat. In the opening round, it's post as many home runs as possible to finish in the top 4 and advance to that second round, the semifinals.
And also, as you move on, right, you're in Atlanta. We talked about it, 92-degree temperatures. It's going to be hot and muggy tonight. The attrition is going to be on. Hey, maybe your first 10 or 15 swings look great. You're all loosened up. You're lathered up. It's great hitting weather. But then as you start to sweat it out and say, how many more home runs that I can hit? I take a look at it too, Ben, and say, well, which other way can you approach this? Just trying to say, I think it makes money, but I don't think I can get hurt. If you just went up and down the list of each one of these players to take the under on their longest home runs, I do think you come out on top, because we're not talking about under 420. Like, Ben, some of these guys are 480, 490, ridiculous numbers where you could say, all right, those guys can hit home runs. And also, what is your strategy? Most of the strategies aren't really to hit the farthest home run. It's just to hit home runs and stay in a groove and not overpower yourself. As I said, hey, 380, 380, 380 counts more than 420, 450, and that's it. That's three. You know what I mean? Just stay in your lane at this point, where it's not fun baseball, but they're not giving you extra per se to hit the longest home run. Hey, longest home run in this competition gets an extra 25 total home runs here that can boost you into the next round or give you the championship. That's not the case.
Yeah, and DRS, there are some very fun bets. But again, fun bets are not necessarily the most bets that have the best chance of winning.
Yeah.
For instance, for all 8 participants, for their first swing of the night to be a home run, everybody hefty juice on the no, right? To get your feel at least for the first few swings that you have. The least amount of juice is Cal Raleigh at minus 220 to the no, that his first swing will not be a home run. But if you wanted to maybe pick a guy that you're like, hey, I think this guy gets off to a good start, you can hit some plus money prices on basically a yes-no bet from the very start. Again, can you handicap that? Do we know guys that are going to be tuned in from the very start of their best friend or their dad or their, bench coach throwing to them tonight? Not necessarily.
They're nervous,
but you would hope they start in a groove. Yeah, probably so. It's also very different. Like, they can be the best home run hitter in the world, and it's still a very different thing to be in a home run derby, basically taking BP, than it is on every other stage.
No, you're right about that. Like, nerves matter on all occasions. And it's not like, hey, Pete Alonso's in this competition. Like, hey, been there, done that, man. Watch me get out there and rake. I'm not worried about, took me a while to get in my groove. Oh, well, you didn't even make the second round at that point.
You know what? We'll ask Tom Vecchio, who is our home run prop king, up next. Is everybody a first-time participant? Or have people done this multiple years? Find out next.
Stars.
TV
Top
Top.
stars. I say, you crank that soldier boy, right? You Darvish back on the mound. Haven't seen this guy in a minute right now. Yeah, man, crank it, man. Get it going up. Get the high. Yeah, let's go. Crank that soldier boy up here. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. That was big back then. Where were you? Senior high school? Or maybe even in grade school?
Dude. Bar mitzvah slate. In the bar mitzvah slate each and every weekend. The young Benny Steve was out there hitting.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Do they practice in a public park? And Fairlawn Lodge, he said, no, they have a little facility, but it's open to the public. No, it's a public park. Like, it basically, like, there's like kids play basketball, like, yeah, no, it's bad. I looked, I'm like, dear God, like, I thought, I'm like, man, I bet a lot of money on these guys. I can't believe this is where they practice. Like,
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Scrounge out a couple of quarters from under the couch to go trade for somebody who actually makes some money. I don't think that he would actually do that. That's not in Hal's style the last couple of years, especially in season. I saw they signed that Heimer Candelario, who the Reds released. That's more their style, going the discount aisle as opposed to trading for someone who's actually having a huge year like Suarez.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, enough of me and DRS trying to break down the home run derby tonight in Atlanta. Let's go to the guy known as the home run prop king, the jack of all trades, providing that prop perspective for the derby. That's TV Tom Vecchio of SportsGrid joining us here on this Monday on the early line. Tom, we are really looking to you because we have some questions about the event, about the structure. We need your guidance, so we appreciate your time as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This event it's always interesting. And the overlying message, or like the high level message that I would have, is like, you are going to get out of it what you want to put into it and what you're expecting. So I would say first and foremost, decrease the unit size, but just be ready to have some fun. And you guys were talking about in the previous segment, like the first swing to be a home run, longest distance, first pitch. So you could take all these different props. You could take one player and bet on the same player to do all these different things. But again, you could handicap it at a high level. You could just have some fun with it. It's going to be a good time. Let's get into it.
I think it's a great point, Tom. Let's have some fun tonight in Atlanta around the home run derby. It's not necessarily the most staunch handicaps or ratings or all that stuff that you can go in to the derby. We, with the help of Tom Vecchio during the break, did make sure that all 8 participants tonight are making their debut in a home run derby after the late scratch of Ronald. No, that's
Matt Olson.
We were not. Wow. Matt Olson did it when he was with the A's a few years ago.
Right.
But yes, now it's an Atlanta Brave making his debut in front of the home crowd. The other 7 guys making their debut in a home run derby, not Matt Olson. Let's start with the ballpark, Vecchio. The dimensions tonight at Truist Park in the warm weather forecast, as DRS told us earlier, in Atlanta. About 92 degrees. We expect some good humidity. There you see the dimensions. Slightly better if you are a lefty. Were to go oppo to right field, perhaps, at least in terms of the dimensions out there at Truist Park, than to left field. How do you evaluate the specs for the ballpark tonight in Atlanta?
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, there is a slight advantage to lefties. So and I wonder what Cal Raleigh's going to do. Like, that's a big question. I would assume he's probably going to be hitting from the left side. That's my interpretation. So Cal Raleigh, O'Neill Cruz, Wood, Matt Olson, and Chisholm are all lefties. So you could just say, maybe I just want to focus on those guys. If I want to focus on them, should I be looking at some of those extra props about, over, under in the first round to make the second round, whatever it might be, all those sorts of things. Obviously, it is super hot there, and the humidity is going to play a big part in it as well. So you can narrow it down to that list. You could also break it down and be like, okay, what if they were all righties theoretically? Could we then dive into and say, of the righties, how many of their home runs go to the opposite field? Like, you can dig into whatever level you want to when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And there is some historic data that indicates certain types of hitters have more success in these events than others. Certain types of hitters that are more line drive hitters compared to, big sweeping, arcing, like Riley Green has a really steep bat path. So those hitters don't always have success, and more line drive hitters. So you can dig into whatever you want, but ultimately it comes down to what odds are you getting and what you're planning to do with that.
Yeah, trying to map out a strategy is tough. And also remind yourselves, in Atlanta, though, that wall is pretty big in right field. I think it's 15 feet maybe compared to the left field. So you are going to have to really get one out there in right field. And also 92 degrees, Ben, as we talked about. Did find out the windy conditions. It's not really windy, but 5 to 10 miles an hour blowing dead out to center field. So we do have conditions that are conducive to hitting long home runs, and we'll see if we find it. But Tom, like, what sort of angles? Because we're trying to figure it out. It's hard to handicap these guys in it, right? It's an exhibition. They're not used to doing this. It's not, we know who the pitcher is, who the lineup is at this point. Is there a way that you approach this? Because I was just joking around saying, I'm just going to take, like, if I wanted to, plus money every single round and hope I go 50% and just put the profit in my pocket, because I don't know who actually is going to hit the most home runs tonight. That's the beauty of this competition.
Yeah, the way I would go about it is you could certainly take outrights on, 2, 3 different players. And as long as you have, as long as one of them comes through, you would come out positive, just because we're getting such, big plus money. And I think that's a very easy way to go about it. I have a position on Brent Rooker to win. I also like Brent Rooker to advance to, the second round. Not a surprise. So, like, doubling down essentially to make the semifinals. So I like him to win. And you could do that the same thing is just simply to make the semifinals. You could just say, okay, give me two different players at plus money. And it's the same thing, Donnie, that we talk about with RBIs. As long as one of them comes through, you're coming out net positive. Yeah. Now you can obviously add more to that. Then you're spreading yourself a little bit thin. You could take Brent Rooker over 18.5, which is his first round total home run mark, because if he were to advance to the second round, he probably needs to get to 18.5, whatever it might be. So like you can compound those things. It's the same thing with the 3-point contest in the NBA. If a player is going to advance, he's going to need to hit a lot.
It's a really good point, Vecchio, in terms of those over-unders for the opening rounds, and you can look at each batter for how far their farthest home run is tonight, all of that good stuff. Vecchio, the odds, though, not nearly as optimistic about Brent Rooker as you are. Tied for the second longest price alongside Junior Caminero. Right now, Jazz Chisholm is the only guy with a longer number. So why do you believe that Brent Rooker will deliver on the largest stage tonight in the Home Run Derby in Atlanta?
It's partly just fading that I don't like the numbers where Cruz and Wood are specifically. So I just don't think all the chalk's going to hit. I just don't think that's going to happen. So I want to take a metered approach with Brent Rooker. He's a little bit of a veteran. Hopefully he knows he's going into this. Like, he's not going to have another shot, I don't think, at another home run derby. And like, that's part of it. I could also make somewhat of a different argument for Byron Buxton, who is from Georgia. So he is in his home state. He's dealt with a lot in his career when it comes to injuries. He's an awesome player, and I would buy into a Byron Buxton if the number was a little bit longer. So I'm just buying into the Brent Rooker number because I don't want to get to Cruz or Wood really when it comes to those numbers. I think they're far too short.
Tom watched Pro Baseball Today yesterday. Your boy DRS liking Brent Rooker. Maybe we joined forces tonight. Yeah, with a Rooker home run. We had so much fun on that hour sprint. Let me ask you this quick question. If there's one bet that actually does make sense, Ben brought it up. How about highest velocity of exit velocity of a home run, O'Neal Cruz at -140? I actually think there might be a handicap to that, Tom.
There is. So what's his total? What's the mile per hour? Because this is something you could dig into when it comes to the StatCast data. You could look at his average exit velocity, what percentile he sits.
It's just who has the best.
It's not a miles per hour. It's just who has the.
Okay. So different books offer different things. There is something to dig into that. I don't mind it for O'Neal Cruz because there's a world where he doesn't advance to the second round, but he still wins you that bet.
Yeah.
I think right now, Vecchio, we'll double check just to make sure, but I believe that O'Neal Cruz right now is the exit velo leader in Major League Baseball on average.
Yeah, see, like that's something you absolutely as you go through things.
Yeah. Exit velo, DRS, enjoy Moneyline. Vecchio and I continue
Day one down. Day one down. You're going to have the suck uniforms the entire season, but 3 games will give you with the best uniform. Those are the issues I have. The powder blue's out for the Chargers. That should be every game. The Miami Dolphins old uniforms that they throw it back to, that should be your uniform, not the trash you wear now. The Patriots, you ever see them throw back with the little football player in the helmet? It is beautiful, but let's keep the trash uniform.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Things you have to look at is what the team has the following day, especially when it comes to bullpen usage. A lot of the things I like to attack is you see these extra inning games, these games get thrown out, these bullpens get worn, or if someone gets shelled the first 3 innings and they got to go to the pen, early, that's a good spot to kind of hop in the middle of the next game. You got a tired bullpen, right? You try and take advantage there, maybe with an over, maybe with a money line. You're getting plus money on a favorite at that point.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Piece of an interesting couple of weeks in California. If you recall, just I think it was 2 weeks ago, language was inserted into a bill that would outlaw or ban sweepstakes casinos and sports betting, which of course we've seen lots of that happen this year. So California is an interesting market because, as you've said, there is no legal online casino. There is no legal online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Like Montreal, has a new coach. Like I might be the new coach of Montreal in 2 weeks. Like they have a new coach all the time, and they always have, we're playing a new system. They're like, they have a bunch of 20-year-old players and kids on the pitch. anyone that's good, they sell and they trade for money all the time. Like, it's a real disaster, but they hit a new low tonight, getting eliminated by the Forge.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Before we move on to Major League Baseball at the All-Star break and get some impressions where the big stand from Tom Vecchio in just a matter of moments, I want to make sure that if you were not paying attention or just joining us for the final few minutes here of the early line, you get Tom Vecchio, the home run prop kings picks for tonight's home run derby in 2025 in Atlanta. Vecchio, again, as you're breaking down the derby tonight, it's fun. It's not necessarily the strongest handicap, and you're looking at some plus money hits. What's the play tonight for the home run derby inside Truist Park?
I like Brent Rooker to win. I'm taking a position on that. I also like Brent Rooker to advance to the semifinal. So him to win is at 10-1. Advance to the semifinal is at plus 128. Again, these are very simple. I would say if you're going to be betting on any player, you should also be looking at some other type of bet again to advance to the semifinal, to hit over X amount of home runs in the first round, whatever it might be. The other factors like longest home run, exit velo, which we were just talking about, you could take different shots on those because obviously those aren't correlated. Cal Raleigh could win the whole thing and lose every other type of bet, not hit a home run on his first pitch, not have the highest exit velo, not have the longest home run, but he still wins the event overall. So you can be creative with it. Again, have fun with it, decrease the unit size, and be ready for the second portion of the season.
It's a really good point, Vecchio. And by the way, for Cal Raleigh, O'Neal Cruz, James Wood, Byron Buxton, Matt Olson, top 5, those guys in there to get 20-plus home runs in the first round, which I think is a pretty fair barometer for what we would expect that you need to be top 4 of the field of 8 to advance to the semis. Big Dumper is minus 290. O'Neal Cruz is minus 215. James Wood is minus 196. And the Georgia native and Byron Buxton is minus 106. Matt Olson, the Atlanta Brave, representing in this field of 8. The only guy who has been in a home run derby previously in his career, even money plus 100. Brent Rooker to get to 20 home runs plus 112. One of the reasons the odds are so short relatively on James Wood and O'Neal Cruz, young guys, 26 for Cruz, 22 for James Wood, ranking top 10 in exit velo on average this year in Major League Baseball. All right, Vecchio, it is the All-Star festivities beginning today in Atlanta, Midsummer Classic tomorrow, and then the All-Star break. Action resumes on Friday. We have said it. It's the first half of the season in the books, but we are well past the midway point of this MLB campaign. All 30 teams have played at least 95 of their 162 games. Let's go to the National League pennant prices first. The Dodgers all year long have remained an incredibly short favorite, even shorter now at plus 120 than their opening day price at plus 135. The Dodgers have the best record and a 5.5 game lead in the NL West. They have the best record by a half game in front of Chicago for the best record in the National League. But when the price is so short on one side, does it present some value then, Vecchio, elsewhere in the NL?
It does, and the argument that I will always make when it comes to this point is if you like a team or two teams, you should be looking at alternate markets. Obviously, the price on some of those teams I'm going to say is prohibitive. Like, I don't think betting on the Dodgers at this point is a good idea, especially at such a short price. However, you could look to an NLCS outcome or direct outcomes. So if you wanted to say, oh, the Dodgers to face the Mets in the NLCS, that's at 6-1. Or the Dodgers to beat the Mets, the Dodgers to beat the Cubs. You would be getting better prices on them. We have to understand that you could lose this bet as soon as before the playoffs even start, because if the bracket just doesn't work out that way, that they would face each other in the second round, there's literally a 0% chance that you win it. But it does give you the option, if the bracket does fall in your favor and things advance, you are in a great spot to hedge.
Expanded postseason now in Major League Baseball. 6 teams, 3 division winners, 3 wild card spots. The 2 best records of being a division winner, they get that opening round bye. Vecchio, American League pennant prices right now. Here at the All-Star break, is there a team that we all need to bet on before we get back underway on Friday?
I mean, it's going to be the same thing. It's the Tigers, but it's probably going to be the Tigers in a different route. I also don't mind taking a shot on, I saw it before, the Red Sox to make the playoffs. Okay, so it changed after yesterday's win, but it's sitting at minus 140. I would monitor that number, and if you can get it at plus money, let's say they lose their next couple games coming out of the All-Star break, the Blue Jays win, the other wildcard teams win, I would be willing to take a spot on the Red Sox to make the playoffs only if you get it at plus money, and then kind of filter in the other things of like a Tigers to beat the Astros in the ALCS.
A minus 140 price right now on the red hot Red Sox, who of course entered the All-Star break winners of 10 consecutive games. Boston in a wild card spot and only 3 out of the top spot in the American League East, currently occupied by the Blue Jays. TV Tom Vecchio of SportsGrid, the home run prop king, delivering on Home Run Derby Day. Vecchio, we appreciate it as always, my man. We'll talk later this week.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, as always. That does it for us. Our 3 hours come to a close on this Monday on the Early Line. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern, here on the Grid.